Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Hearthstone, and today we'll be continuing our journey on a beginner's guide to Hearthstone. So I realized that in the previous few videos I haven't really got a proper structure for the video, and I really should improve on it. So I guess this episode will be dedicated to Hunter, since we got a Death Knight Rexa card, which I find very valuable. So we're gonna build a deck around Deathstalker Rexa, I think. So we'll just go ahead and create a new deck. As you can see, we've only touched 3 classes so far: Hunter, Mage, and Warlock. So I'll go ahead and try to get all the other basic cards for the other classes. Anyway, today we'll be focusing on Hunter. So in this video, I'll first start off by telling you guys which cards are good in Hunter, which cards are bad in Hunter, and the reasons why I put them into this specific deck. So starting out, let's go with 2 copies of Candle Shot. Candle Shot, it's a 1 mana deal 4 damage, although it must be done on 3 separate turns. But I find 1 mana deal 3 damage to be very good, especially when removing a small annoying minion, and it doesn't take up health as well. And in certain cases you can use it to hit the face, which is also pretty nice. The next card, we're gonna tag in 1 copy of Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark paired with Candle Shot is actually pretty good. It's a quote-unquote 2 mana hard removal, although you do have to spend 2 cards on it. However, I think Hunter's Mark is a good include in this deck. Now, next card we're gonna add in is the Cackling Razor Maw. Cackling Razor Maw, it's a better, what's that card called? Bloodfen Raptor. 2 mana 3/2 adapt a minion. Adapt is costed at around 0.5 mana to 1 mana, so put in a Cackling Razor Maw. We're obviously gonna put in 2 copies of Animal Companion. Animal Companion, like I said before, is a really insane card. 3 mana 2/4 with a upside, or 3 mana 4/4 with an upside, or 3 mana 4/2 with an upside. The Animal Companions that you summon are usually really good minions, even if you do summon Leok from time to time, which may not always be useful, but in certain situations are pretty good. So obviously we're gonna put in 2 copies of Kill Command. Kill Command is an almost auto include in every single Hunter deck, simply because it's a 3 mana deal 5 damage, which you can hit face, right? So 3 mana deal 5 damage. Mage has a 4 mana deal 6 damage, and is split in every single Mage deck. Almost every single Mage deck, except for perhaps Big Spell Mage. But anyway, Kill Command is really good. It's usually a 3 mana deal 5 damage, because you will use it only when you have a beast on board. Next is Flanking Strike. We're gonna put in 2 copies as well, because 4 mana deal 3 damage, summon a 3/3 wolf. It's a really big tempo swing. You remove one of their minions and you summon a 3/3 for yourself. So that's really good. It's a really nice tempo card. So we'll put that in. Houndmaster is also a double include of, because a Houndmaster, you can look at it as a 4 mana 6/5. Yeah, that's pretty good, and it gives a minion, it gives a beast taunt as well, which is an upside as well, I feel, because it protects the Houndmaster, so you can keep hitting the Houndmaster into the face. The next card we're actually gonna put in Tundra Rhino. The reason why we only put in 1 copy is because Tundra Rhino is costed at 5, and usually for Hunter you really want to play more mid-rangey to aggressively. So Tundra Rhino we only put in 1 copy. It has a pretty nice upside. It's by itself is a 5 mana 2/5 charge, which is something like a 5 mana 2/5 deal 2 damage if you look at it, if you hit face. I mean, that minion by itself is not very strong, but if you pair it with another minion, you can possibly deal more face damage, especially in the case of Hunter, because usually in the case of Hunter, minions are aggressively statted, so usually they have high attack and low health. So if you use Tundra Rhino to push the face, it's actually a pretty viable option. Deathstalker Rexa is a definite include. Deathstalker Rexa helps us seal off a game when it's not possible for us to do so. So next card that will be including will be a Dire Mole. Dire Mole 1 mana 1/3 doesn't look too interesting, but it's a Void Walker without Taunt, and it's a beast, so it has nice beast synergy. So we're gonna add in 1 copy of that. Acidic Swamp Ooze is a good card in most decks. In fact, I would say all beginners deck, because it's a 2 mana 3/2 with an upside. So how you judge whether a minion is good or not is by looking at its cost to stat ratio. If it's a let's say 2 mana, you expect something like a 3/2 or 2/3 for it to be costed reasonably. And if it has an upside in addition to this stat line, it's considered a good card. So that's how that's my thought process when choosing whether to include certain cards in your deck or not. So for example, the Plated Beetle, I will also be adding 1 copy of it in, because Plated Beetle is also a 2 mana 2/3. It's a Crocolis, which is this card, except with that it has an upside. Although the upside isn't really that useful in our deck because we're looking to go more aggressive. However, I think Plated Beetle is still it's definitely better than Crocolis, right? Next is we'll put in a copy of Acolyte. I put in Acolyte in my basic deck because Acolyte is a 3 mana 1/3. Honestly, it's a terrible body. Its body is costed at around 1 mana. However, it has the potential to draw around 1 or 2 cards. It will usually draw you 1 card, but if it draws more than that, that's where the value comes in of Acolyte of Pain. So I'll put in 1 copy of it in my deck. The next card that I will put in will probably be Yeti, 2 copies of it. Because Yeti 4 mana 4/5, it's an average stat line, but the thing about Yeti is that it's statted well, meaning that a 4/5 is better than, let's say, a 5/4 because it can live longer. So which is why I've chosen to include 2 copies of Yeti. So right now when I look at this deck, what I think about is what am I lacking? So what I'm lacking right now is card draw, and as a hunter you really don't want to run low on card draws. So in that case, I'll be running 2 copies of the Gnomish Inventor to draw us cards so that we don't run out of steam as easily. So right now we have quite a bit of 4 drops. I think we'll add in 1 more 4 drop though. The Spellbreaker is a really good minion to include in your deck, because although it's a 4 mana 4/3, the 4/3 body is costed at around 3 mana, but its 1 additional mana comes from its Silence. So Silence will usually add additional or reduce the enemy's minion value by at least by 1 mana, I feel. So I think Spellbreaker is a really good card to include, especially when you silence something like a Spike Rich Steed minion, for example. You really devalue the minion by 6 mana in a 4 mana card, and you get a 4/3 body in addition. So out of all these cards, obviously you're gonna pick the Bittertide Hydra. So like I said, this deck wishes to go aggressively. So Bittertide Hydra is a good include because 5 mana 8/8, you rarely see that kind of stat line. 8/8 is costed around, I would say, at least 7.5 mana. So however, there's a downside of taking 3 damage to a hero every time this is damaged. But for aggressive decks, they don't really care so much about damaging your own face. And I think that Bittertide Hydra is a really good include in this deck, because on turn 5, let's say you play the Bittertide Hydra, most beginners will have no answer for it, except for maybe Priest with their Shadow Word Death. But other than that, it's a really good include. So the next minion that we're gonna add in will probably be a Silver Hand Knight. So Silver Hand Knight is a 5 mana 6/6. Usually on 5 mana you expect something like a 5/6. However, its combined stat line of the 4/4 and the 2/2 is 6 mana. So this card is essentially a 5 mana 6/6. So which is why I chosen it to include it in this particular hunter deck. Now on to the higher cost minions. So usually when you, especially in hunter, usually when you choose to include 6 mana minions or higher, you have to think very carefully about it. This is because 6 mana you're usually playing a very late game oriented deck. So you have to think carefully about what cards you're putting into this deck, especially when this is a 6 or more mana minion, because you're looking to be more aggressive. You're trying to aggro the opponent down or play a more mid-range strategy. So 6 mana you have to cut down quite a bit. I explained the rationale behind Deathstalker Rexa just now, which is that it is used to seal off a game we cannot finish with the hero power. However, in this case, over here, I will choose to add in a Hogger. So Hogger, honestly speaking, it's a terrible card. 6 mana, 6/6. It's not a terrible card, but I would say that it's lower on the power curve. But it has a chance to become a 6 mana 8/8 if they don't deal with it on the first turn. It could even snowball and become a 6 mana 8/8. Oh wait, 6 mana 10/10. If not dealt with by turn 3 that is played. The next card that I'll be including that 6 mana or more is Sunwalker. So Sunwalker, what it does is that it's able to take, its body by itself is a Yeti body, it's a 4 mana body. However, it has Divine Shield, which means that it's able to deal 4 damage without any repercussions. It's able to either take 4 damage, it's either able to take some damage, let's say a minion trades into it, it's able to deal 4 damage to the minion without any downsides. Or the Sunwalker can deal 4 damage to a minion when trading, so it deals 4 damage with no downsides. So I would say Sunwalker is, you could look at it something like a 6 mana 4/5 deal 4 damage. Although it's not a battle cry. So I would say 4 damage, it's something like a Frostbolt, I would say. So this card is fair, and Frostbolt is 3, not 4 damage. So I would say this card is slightly higher on the power curve. If you don't have these two cards, I think you can replace it with the Reckless Rocketeer. Reckless Rocketeer is a you're looking to put it in a very aggressive hunter deck. 6 mana 5/2 charge. So it's 6 mana, deal 5 damage and leaves you with a 5/2 body. You can use it to remove minions, but although that's not very advisable, because you usually die to a minion, even a low cost one. So Reckless Rocketeer, you're really looking to hit face with it. So yeah, if you're looking for a more aggressive hunter deck, you might want to consider Reckless Rocketeer. So we are left with 2 cards. Honestly, in this case, I will add in the Violet Worm. So the reason I add in a Violet Worm is because 8 mana 7/7 is not terrible. Okay, it is terrible. 7/7 is costed at 6.5, I would say 6.5 mana. However, its Death Rattle is really good, right? So it summons 7/1/1 grubs. In that case, I would say it's something like a Unleash the Hounds effect. So it's essentially a 5 mana 7/7, something like that. Yeah. So however, the downside is that you don't really get to choose when you summon the grubs. You could summon 5 grubs if you have 2 other minions on the board, or you could summon 1 grub if your board is full. So I'll put in 1 copy of Violet Worm. For our last card, let me go back to the hunter list. I think a multi-shot is good because we're really lacking in AoE effects. So I'll put in 1 copy of multi-shot to take down multiple targets, because let's say we're behind. In fact, I may actually consider removing a card to add in multi-shot, another copy of multi-shot. But in this case, I think we're just gonna roll with this deck first and see how well it does. The thing about building a deck is that you really don't know whether the first deck you build is good. You just really need to experiment, right? See what cards work, which cards are limiting this deck. So for example, Silver Hand Knight, perhaps when you actually play it, you find out that it's not actually that good. So you may want to remove Silver Hand Knight and replace it with multi-shot instead. If you're looking to build a very aggressive hunter, and you don't have all these cards, especially Deathstalker Rexa, I would suggest something like a Wolf Rider to hit the face. 3 mana, 3/1, deal 3 damage to the face. It's fair, I think. However, it does get neutralized by taunt minions and Mage's hero power. Another card that's not bad to include is Senjin. So Senjin protects your other higher priority targets, and overall it's just a good minion. Although it's a 4 mana 3/5, but the thing about Senjin is that it's really well statted. So it will usually take more than one hit. So I would include Senjin if you don't have all the other cards. Oasis Snapjaw is, I would say, it's more controversial, but I think for a beginner it's an amazing card, especially if you end up Hound Mastering it. If you Hound Master it, it becomes a 4/9 Taunt, which is extremely hard to kill, and a 4 damage. It's basically Sogoth the Slitherer, except that you can remove it with spells. But I think Oasis is a perfectly good card, especially if you buff it with Hound Master. It becomes a huge body and you would usually remove any minions trading into it. So, yep. Frostwolf Warlord is actually not a bad card as well. Provided you have 2 other minions on the board, but that condition isn't that hard to meet, especially in Hunter where you want to summon many small minions. Nightblade, I wouldn't really recommend putting it into your deck, unless you're really looking to be extremely aggressive. Yep. Boulder Fist is actually not bad as well if you don't have the other 6 drops. But if you're looking to be aggressive, you should put in Reckless. Or maybe you have a nice mix between 1 Boulder Fist and 1 Reckless. Something like that. But yeah, don't put in Lord of the Arena. 6 mana, 6/5. Okay, this is what I mean by a bad card. 6 mana, you expect something like a 6/7. This is a 6/5 with Taunt. It's not what we're looking for. Taunt, it's a quote-unquote negligible upside, because Taunt can either be useful or not useful. In this case, in a Hunter deck, it's not very useful, because the only purpose of Taunt is to protect your either higher priority target minions. In this case, Lord of the Arena, Taunt is not very good, especially when you're behind, because it's only a 6/5 body, which is costed around 5 mana. The standard deck will also feature a Core Hound. So Core Hound looks amazing, it's a 9/5, but the thing about it is that it can be traded in with a very small minion. Let's say you play a Core Hound, the enemy can just remove it with, let's say, a kill command. So although it has the potential to hit 9 damage into face, if you're behind and you play Core Hound, you usually lost because you wasted 7 mana. So yep, War Golem is a okay card, I guess. 7 mana, 7/7, it's an average card, although it's really slow. So if you're looking to put in War Golem, put in like 1 copy. So that's the Hunter deck that I've built, and I think we can take it on a test run. Let's just try to complete the 3 victories quest that we have today. So without further ado, let's jump into our first match. We might as well play rank, right? Because we're trying to get the season chest.
Rexar versus Anduin.
The light shall bring victory.
Let the hunt begin.
So if we look at this hand, the only possible good card that we can keep is a kill command, because it's cost at 3. Usually you want to, as a hunter, you want to start out the early game strong, so you wouldn't get cards 3 costs and 4 costs and above. So looks like we got nothing to play for first turn, which is fine. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got a new microphone. It's not really a new microphone, it's more like I got this microphone before, it's just that I got a new adapter. So I'm not sure whether the audio quality has changed. The thing is that I may have breathed into it a few times, but I wouldn't know. I actually recorded the first part of this video and then I listened to myself, so it was fine. Actually, I couldn't really tell the difference between my old hit earpiece, because my previous setup was just a earpiece with a small microphone. Now I'm using a really old microphone, so I'm not sure whether there's a difference or not, but hopefully there is, or hopefully there's a positive difference for this change. So just gonna play Animal Companion just now. As you can see, we played a 3 mana 4/4 with Taunt. So okay, like I said just now, the Taunt is quote unquote negligible, right? But at the same time, in this case, it's slightly useful. So it protects our Plated Beetle with a 4 health body. So 3 mana 4/4 is just insane, because 3 mana you expect something like a 3/4. Which is why Animal Companion is insane, because whatever that it summons you is generally good. Except for maybe Leok, unless you got a white board. There's a Twilight Drake, so looks something like a... I would say it looks something like a Dragon Breeze. So in this case, in order to deal with the 4/7, we could kill command it, but that will mean that we have to trade our Plated Beetle in. We could trade our Misha in though, but it's inefficient. It's an inefficient allocation of damage. So in this case, we're gonna use our Flanking Strike. So like I said just now, Flanking Strike is a very what would you call that? It's a very tempo based card. It removes a minion and summons one for you. So the reason why I use Flanking Strike just now is because instead of losing, because our 4/4 essentially got converted to a 3/3 by using Flanking Strike. However, if we traded the Plated Beetle in, we would have lost 2/3 in terms of stats for our board. So in this case, we have a choice between multi-shot these two minions or kill command. In this case, I'll opt for kill command on the 3/5 because we don't want to use too much resources to deal with this 3/5. Let's say we use multi-shot, this thing will be left with 2 health. We have to trade either minion in, which in both cases is not ideal. Additionally, kill command allows more flexibility because it's stated at 3. We can use our hero power following up kill command. So let's just do that. In this case, it's a no-brainer because, I mean, would you spend 2 damage to deal with this or 3 damage to deal with this? Pretty sure you spend 2 damage. So you use the rest of the damage to hit into face. So yep. So as you can see here, the priest is behind, and we have 2 minions on the board, totaling stats of 5/4.
Ready for action.
So Goldshire Footman, 1/2 with Taunt. This isn't a very good card because a Warlock has a better version of it. It's called Void Walker, 1 mana 1/3, and it's a demon. So in this case, we don't really have a choice. We'll have to play the multi-shot in order to remove this and this. After we should trade our Plated Beetle in. However, now the Plated Beetle is damaged, so we are losing less stats if you can look at it that way. We hit this in and hit this in. And of course, we can press our hero power. Hunter's hero power is actually surprisingly good because there's no other hero power like it. It's the only hero power that deals 2 damage, although it is only specifically to face. However, it's still a really good hero power. It basically makes the game into a 15-turn game if you press the hero power every single turn, and provided that the enemy doesn't heal himself. Ooh, Divine Spirit. So it might end up as a OTK deck. So we have to look out for it. Oh, it's a good thing we got Hunter's Mark that we tagged in just now. So we're really sorry, Priest, but we'll have to remove it. In this case, we'll play Bittertide Hydra, and in which I'm pretty sure the Priest has no answer for it other than Shadowword Death. So as you can see, a 5 mana 8/8 is actually very impactful on the board because he has nothing on the board. We have an 8/8. Although the 8/8 can deal damage to us, it doesn't really matter because our main purpose of this deck is to lower his health to 0. That's the main purpose of every single deck, but we just want to do it faster, and we don't really want to care about our own health. So hero powers are disabled. That's slightly annoying because our hero power is really good, right? Yeah. So we're probably gonna use the Bittertide to trade into it. So we'll trade this in. Get our hero power back. It deals 3 damage to our face, but it doesn't really matter. play Hogger. There are some cards like Hogger which are best played when you are ahead, so that it gives you an additional advantage to secure the game. So Hogger, why is it good to play when you're ahead? It's because the enemy has no direct way of clearing Hogger. So unless he has direct damage, Hogger will usually be safe and able to gain you more value over time. Which is why you play Hogger when you're ahead. If you're behind, if you play Hogger, it's just a 6 mana 6/6, which will usually not save you. Alright, so plays a this card is actually really well statted. It's a 2/6 and a 1/1. Gives that +2 health, but we can easily clear it with the 8/6. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clear it with the 8/6. So now this becomes a problem. Fortunately, we do have this card, Tundra Rhino. So Tundra Rhino can charge this down, and we use the Hogger spawn to clear it. In this case, I'll press the button. So the thing about Hunter is that one of the problem with Hunter is that it runs out of steam really quickly. What does it mean by running out of steam? Which means that you run out of cards and then towards the late game you're not spending your mana as efficiently. So let's say the enemy gets to spend 10 mana because he has enough cards. However, maybe you're only allowed to spend 6 of your 10 mana because you only have, let's say, 2 cards in your hand. So using a hero power is very key for Hunter because you get to conserve cards and you're able to use a pretty decent hero power as well. So in this case, we will... so we can, as you can see, the Tundra Rhino really came in handy here. So we'll play the Violet Worm. This is a beast, so it gains charge and it's insane. 7 damage. So do we have lethal? I think we have lethal. Yep, we do have lethal. So we win. And we're on our way to completing the season chest, which is 5 wins. This video I'll probably only feature around 3 matches, since you know, it's, well, since I don't know, since I've already done an 18-minute description of this deck, so I'll just, you know, shorten this video a bit because I really don't want it to be too long. Because what I realized from my YouTube analytics is that my average view, my average audience retention is only around, what, 10%? Which means by the first 10% of the video, most of the people, or half of the people, would have clicked off. So as you can see, I threw away all cards that were 4 or higher. This isn't always a very good way to mulligan, but you could use this as a general rule of thumb to choose what cards to mulligan away in your starting hand. And the thing about throwing away low cost, mid-range cost cards is that you might draw something like a Violet Worm, which isn't really gonna be very useful until turn 8. So yep. In this case, turn 1 will end our turn. I mean, we got nothing to play. It's not very... It doesn't require a lot of explanation. We got nothing to play on turn 1. Turn 2, hero power. We got nothing else to play. So he hero powers as well. In this case, we want to secure the board, I would say. So we'll play an Animal Companion. We do get Huffer, which is really nice. It's a really nice card. 3 mana, 4/2, deal 4 damage. It's a really nice card. So it coins. Barnes. Oh, it's a Yasharaj Hunter, I think. So we're screwed. Okay. We're not gonna do well this game. Okay, let's think about this. We could trade this in. And then we'll multi-shot, I guess. But multi-shot, it doesn't really do much. But it's our only good option, I would say. Actually, playing the kill command would be valid as well, I think. Cause it'll be a long time until we have a beast on board. So we'll just kill that, or attempt to kill it. Okay, so the thing about Bun's Hunter is that it puts in the only minions that it plays is Buns, Buns and Yasharaj. So its main goal is to kill you off with this combo. So if he draws this combo, you're basically screwed. Yep, so as you can see, he has no more other... Oh, look at that. So we'll just do this. We'll multi-shot and kill that. So the thing right now is that we're down by about 17 health because of the combo that he played, and that was only turn 4. And we're gonna continue reducing health for quite some time. So in this case, we'll play a Taunt, Divine Shield. I guess it's one of the times where Taunt is good on Hunter, and that we actually need to care about health. So I think that's a freezing trap, if I'm not wrong, or at least one of it's a freezing trap. So we'll try to hit his face and we'll probably get sent back. So it's a wandering monster. Oh, How Fiend. So yep, it's a freezing trap, which means we probably lost. Deals 3 hero powers, so deals 5. Yeah, I think we lost.
Ready, sir.
Because this deck doesn't really have a heal mechanism, and the Hunter's hero power is actually really scary, which it means that by another 3 turns, he can kill us off. That's it if he doesn't draw any additional direct damage. That's a direct damage. Eagle Hornbow. Eagle Hornbow is actually a very good card, especially in Secret Hunter. It's 3 mana, deal 6 damage. Probably has kill command as well, or something. Oh, it's a secret. He's probably BMing us, cause if he's playing properly, he'll use the hero power. So I guess we'll trade this. We pretty much lost already, by the way. So yep. And we'll play the flanking strike, and we'll taunt our thing, I guess. Oh, it's a cat trick. All right. So this thing, I have no idea. Maybe it's explosive. Yep, explosive. So we lost. Cause the reason why we lost is cause he can use the hero power. So yep, and hero power us, and then we take 2 damage and we lose. It's a bit unfortunate that he drew Yasharaj at such an early stage of the game. Bans Yasharaj at such an early stage of the game. It's fine though. We'll continue playing. I may even consider playing 3 wins until I get 3 wins. Because I have a quest to complete 3 wins.
I must protect the wild. Let the hunt begin.
So in this case, everything is above 3, so we'll just replace everything. All hail Cartoon. So probably a Cartoon deck. Probably. Let's hope he doesn't get Cartoon.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Coin. Wild Growth. Oh, it's a Cartoon deck. So for those who weren't here during the Old God set, a Cartoon deck is basically a late game oriented deck. So if we allow this deck to progress into the late game, it's probably not gonna look good for us. It's probably gonna end badly for us. So we'll play our Animal Companion to secure the board. We do get Liok, which is average, I would say. Because Huffer will be bad in this scenario because it only removes this minion. Getting something like a Misha would be the most ideal. However, we can't always get what we want. So in this case, we'll play the Candle Shot. So Candle Shot, like I've explained many times in other videos, you don't use it to hit face, you use it to hit minions. So normally we get to have taken 4 damage from a minion. However, right now we don't take any damage and we deal 1 damage to it. If you're optimistic, you could look at this as a 3 times hero power. Candle Shot is a 3 times hero power. So this gets removed, that's absolutely fine. We'll just play our extremely big minion. So play this, and hopefully that's enough to scare the living hell out of him. Cthulhu's Chosen. It's a, I would say it's an auto-include in many Cthulhu decks. For some reason, he's choosing to hit face instead of his bitter type. I guess it's understandable, right? Because he doesn't want his minions to get killed. So this is what I was talking about for Spellbreaker. You see that the Divine Shield has been removed. So I would say Divine Shield is costed at around 1. So it's and plus this minion would have dealt like 4 damage to something if the Divine Shield wasn't removed. Now that at least when it deals 4 damage, it will pop its Divine Shield. So it wouldn't be as bad. So Mark of the Wow, it's probably gonna trade into the 8-7. Oh no, he chooses to trade into the 3-2. It's left with 1 health, which I guess is sort of annoying. Cause you have to. Oh wait, it's not annoying, cause you can use our Candle Shot. So yep, we're gonna remove it with our Candle Shot. See, Candle Shot is really efficient, cause it just blocked, quote unquote, blocked 6 damage. So we're gonna kill command and buff that. Now it's usually not advisable to buff something such that it's a 10-9, cause 1 silence will remove all its stats. However, for the bitter type, it has a special property. Remember, it's deal 3 damage. So enemies would think twice before silencing it because it removes that quote unquote special effect of bitter type. So it removes the possible outcome where they can use this to deal damage to our face. So yep. So the only possible method of him winning right now is to innervate Cartoon. In which case, our bitter type will just keep dealing damage to our face and we'll lose. But it's a good thing he didn't do that. So one more win to the end of this video, I guess. Like I said, I really don't want my Hearthstone videos to be too long, cause there's really no point, right? If like people click off within the first 6 minutes, and I record a 1-hour video. So I mean that's my rationale. Hopefully I can improve my quality of my videos such that the viewer retention becomes longer. But I do understand why people don't want to stay for a 1-hour video. So in this case, I would actually keep this hand because you actually have a quote unquote game plan, even though some of your cards are above the cost of 3. In fact, most of your cards are above the cost of 3. So Plated Beetle, you could coin it out, and turn 3 you can hero power, and turn 4 you can play either Gnomish or Spellbreaker, and turn 5 you can secure the board with the bitter type. So I'm actually gonna keep this hand because yeah. So if you have a quote unquote game plan, even though your hand may not fit your mulligan strategy, which is your 3 or lower, you can choose to keep it. After all, it is your game and it is your decisions. So yep, it's up to you. It's really up to you. You see, Cackling Razor Maw is actually really good. It gained this thing Divine Shield, which is valued at around 1 mana. So like I said, turn 2 will probably do nothing. We do want to remove the 3-2 though, cause it might end up being a problem in the future. The reason why I say that it might end up as a problem is because it's a beast, so it might get Hound Mastered or something. So it's not advisable to keep it on board. So I was forced into playing Acidic Storm Ooze because I really want to play a response play. So he probably trade one of the cats into the... Oh no, he chooses not to. Which is sort of interesting, I guess. So we'll end up silencing this. Now we do have a choice between killing the Timberwolf or the Hound Master. In this case, we'll kill the Timberwolf because it reduces damage to our face and it leaves us with a 3-1 body steal, in which he has to trade another minion in. And if he were to choose to trade a minion into the 3-1, it will impact his ability to deal with the Spellbreaker with these 3 minions. Or he could use a kill command, but it's not advisable. Because from what I see, he's playing an aggressive hunter deck. In which he's doing very well. Okay, so multi-shot, I would say. Unless we're unlucky enough to hit these two. But we do get a 4-3, which is nice. Bloodfen Raptor, okay. Ooh, we're facing some large amounts of AoE. Large amounts of minions. So in this case, we'll have to play the Sunwalker. So how I see this going now is hit this, probably hit, or hit. Raptor Hatchling, it's an interesting choice. Especially when, because this card is usually used for a more control hunter strategy. Because you only gain the value of the 4-3 in the later stages of the game. We'll play our Candle Shot, but we lost. Yeah, we lost. So if you're in a losing situation, you should try to draw a card first. Oh, okay. I wish we'd drawn these cards one turn earlier, but it's fine. So we'll use our hero power and we lost. Unless he's dumb enough not to see the direct damage, but he probably is smart enough. Animal Companion. Okay, he's definitely smart enough. Removes that. And he won't BM us. Or maybe he will. Nope, he won't. Oh, that's sad. It's fine though, we'll just play another match. And as a beginner, don't expect to win all the time. Yes, because your collection is limited and yeah, mostly because your collection is limited. Even if you do have a fully fledged deck, your win rate will only be around 50+%, low 50%. Because as of now, every single deck in Hearthstone is well balanced, except for maybe Cute Lock. Yeah. So we ran into another Hunter. Hunter's actually one of the, I would say, cheaper cards. One of the cheaper class to start out with. So in this case, we could play the Crackling Razormaw on turn 2. In fact, I would keep this hand. I actually would, because if you're starting first, you might face a situation where you run out of cards. So the Gnomish Inventor will come in handy, I would say. And we may be forced to play the Razormaw at 2 if he plays something on turn 1. So he plays Tracking, so we might have to decide whether to play the Crackling Razormaw or not. Because if you think about it, if you play the Razormaw right now, you're losing value because you're not adapting ABs. So I would hold on to it, I think. Unless he plays something more aggressive. Maybe he plays like a alley cat or something, then maybe I'll be forced to... Oh, actually this is perfect, to just play the Candle Shot. Yeah, Candle Shot, even though we didn't spend our mana fully by playing Candle Shot, I feel that we'll gain back enough value with Cackling Razormaw in the future. So unfortunately we got a Leok, which is not very nice. So if you don't know, Leok's actually the weakest, I would say, in out of the 3 animal companions. Both stat wise and text wise. Okay, text wise probably Misha, but Misha makes up for her lack of text with her stat line 3 mana 4/4. So Leok is not it's not very useful unless you have a lot of minions on the board. So hero powers again, it might end up being a Barnes Hunter, which we got PTSD from. I would think Volcanic. I'll pick between Volcanic Might and Divine Shield. I'd say. But hunters are used to playing small minions, so the Divine Shield may not come in very handy. So I'll pick Volcanic Might. The reason why I played Hero Power over the Plated Beetle is so that we don't run our cards as fast. Yeah. So multi-shot. Maybe in that situation it would have been better to play the to pick the Divine Shield, but it's fine, we can't predict everything. So in this scenario we'll play the Plated, the Mo, and Hero Power. I guess in this case Leok becomes slightly more useful because you have 2 other minions. Oh, the hunter actually has a very full hand, which is not typical of a hunter. Stage tracker, yup, it might end up being a Barnes. Oh, okay, it's not. I don't think it is at least. Because Stage Tracker can actually discover Barnes from your deck. So, yep. Flanking Strike. It's a nice card. So we'll end up trading the Dynamo in. Note that Dynamo is a 1 mana trading into a 2 mana. So we actually got a very favorable trade off there. We'll trade the Plated Beetle into this. This thing survives, so it's gonna gain us some extra value. Because the 3/1 is actually quite annoying to kill off, unless you have the Candle Shot. Candle Shot's amazing. So kill command, he really wants to remove the Leok, it seems. Which is reasonable because Leok is gaining quite a bit of value at this moment. Coins, does a 4, oh, Hunter's Mark, okay. And ends up, oh, kill commanding that. I wouldn't say that's a very smart move. Because Hunter's Mark can be used for a lot more things. Like, for example, if I were a Yasharaj Hunter, I'll be able to play Hunter's Mark and use my hero power against the 10/10 Yasharaj. So yep. In fact, this deck can tag against that kind of thing, I would say. He does play quite a good combo there. He might get Wind Fury or something. Oh no, he gets Volcanic Might, which might end up trading into face. Yeah, he just wants face damage at this point. So it's a good thing we still have Hunter's Mark. So let's change this to 1 health, we'll hit it in, and we'll Flanking Strike in order to preserve these 2 minions on the board. And we'll Hero Power. Novice Engineer and Green Jelly, so we've won, I think. Yep, we've won. So yep, we won 3 games and we did end up doing 5 matches, I think. So I guess it's a normal episode. We do have 40 gold and a Kobolds pack. If we got a Witchwood pack, I'll be actually quite sad. Because we wouldn't be able to open the pack today. But let's open the Kobolds pack. A rare. And absolutely nothing else. Okay. So we get a Hook Reaver, which is nice for Warlock, I guess. In fact, I might feature this card in Warlock in my next video. Potion of Heroism is pretty good as well. Raven Familiar. Potion of Heroism is I would say a flexible card, because it gives the my shield and then it draws a card, which means that you are not actually spending a card to give a minion Divine Shield, which I find decent. I think I might put it in the Paladin deck, I don't know. Sneaky Devil's terrible, 4 mana 2/2. It's a sort of like a Leok, I would say. Except they are paying 4 mana for it. And it's slightly harder to kill it. Actually, it's not really slightly harder to kill it. If you attack with the Sneaky Devil, you uncover its stealth. So it's worse than, I would say it's strictly worse than a Leok, because you can't really attack with it if you wish for it to survive. Cheat Death, it's in very specific rogue decks. It's a good card in those rogue decks, but then I most probably would not run it anytime soon. Riven Familiar is pretty good though in Big Spell Mage. It can draw you your Firelands, it can draw you your Flame Strike, it can draw your Blizzard, even though I don't have Blizzard yet, as of yet. So we've come to the end of the video, guys, and if you're wondering for the 355 gold, I'm actually saving up for the new expansion, the Witchwood, which will be coming out sometime soon, I would say. It's 7 April. It's rumored that it'll be coming out on 12 April. So yep, start saving up, and actually it's probably too late to start saving up. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, goodbye.